everyone, it's Miranda. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hey, for the first time, why don't you subscribe? Become the newest member of the Slashed Squad. Here I review products you won't feel guilty buying and do looks you can actually recreate at home, including this one, which is an all drugstore DIY bridesmaids makeup. Some may call spring and summer wedding season. I'd have to disagree because I got married in the fall. But I am a bridesmaid for one of my very best friends, Jessica, who is in my own wedding. That's happening next week. I am so stoked. And I will be doing my own hair and makeup again, just like I did for my own wedding. If you want to check out how I did my makeup for mine, check the card and the description for the link. But this time it's my turn to support the bride, so I don't want to go like super all out glam, but I do want something pretty. I want something defining so it shows up in photos so I feel like myself. So this is the look that I created that's going to be very, very close to what I end up doing on her big day. It's neutral, but it definitely accentuates my favorite parts of my face. And most importantly, it's timeless. So when she looks back on photos and when I look back on photos, I'm not like, what was I doing? So let's just jump right into the tutorial. This is my all drugstore DIY bridesmaids makeup. Okay, so if you watch my other makeup tutorials, then you probably know that I usually start with my face, then move to the eyes, then move back to the face. But for bridal makeup, I do like to do my eyes first just because the stakes are high. So if you mess up or you get a lot of fallout, you don't want to be removing face makeup and trying to put it over again. So before I did this eye ahead of time, I put on face primer and did my brows. And then I'm going to move to my eyes and then we'll go from there. So let me zoom you in. Okay, so I'm starting out with the Revlon Colorstay Eyeshadow primer, going to put that all over the lid and just bringing it a little bit down onto that lower lash line as well. By the way, I know that I filled in my eyebrows with a shade that is too light because of my hair color now. I need to like lighten up my eyebrows because otherwise they're way too harsh. So for this eyeshadow look, I'm using one of my favorite drugstore neutral palettes. This is the CoverGirl True Naked Nudes palette. This is also the new packaging. This is not a new palette, they've just rebranded. So this is what it'll look like if you are looking for it in like Ulta or your drugstore. So first off, I'm going to take this matte cream shade and put that all over the lid as a base color. Next, I'm going to quickly highlight my brow bone and switch to the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Brow Razor. And I'm gonna use the shimmery side on the light pencil to add a little bit of a pop under the brow. You can totally do this with a shadow too. I just find it to be a little bit more precise when I use a pencil. Back to the shadow palette, I'm gonna be using this medium matte brown shade as my transition. So I'm using a big fluffy blending brush and putting that in and above my crease, and I'm just gonna blend in circular motions to get it really diffused. And if you want, you can switch to a clean brush and just continue that blending, which will help it blend out without adding more color to it. Next, I'm gonna dip into this second to last shade. This is kind of a bronzy dark brown. It does have a little bit of shimmer in it. I'm gonna be placing that on the lid just in this inner part, just right before where my outer corner starts. And I'm gonna have that basically fade into my outer corner, but using this shade to help kind of marry the lid and the outer corner will help blending and that transition gradient a little bit better. So that's where I'm at. Now for my outer corner shade, I am using this dark brown and I'm going to pack that in my outer corner and bring it a little bit into the crease. I'm not worrying about blending this too much just yet. I just want to pack it in and get the placement right. And I'm going to be using this lighter brown to help blend that out and get it nice and diffused without it getting too strong. And I'll bring that in a little bit further as well. For this next part, I am going to wet my brush using my setting spray. This is the Physicians Formula Insta Ready setting spray that I'll probably use on my face a little bit later, but I just want to dampen it. Don't want to get it way too wet. So then I'm going to tap into this sparkly champagne pink shade, and I am tapping it to pack it onto the brush. tap off the excess. That's super important if you want to avoid fallout. And then we're going to press this onto the lid area that we haven't shaded in yet. And this is just gonna give us a nice metallic finish. But what I love about the shades in this collection is when you do apply them wet for that metallic look, they don't look crinkly. You know those metallic shadows that just like accentuate texture? I don't feel like these do that at all, which is why I feel safe doing it for something like a wedding. Just kind of amplifies the color a little bit. And then just go ahead and lightly blend that shade into the dark brown we put down earlier. So now I'm gonna tightline my upper waterline with the L'Oreal Infallible Long Wear Eye Pencil. And clearly this is in black. Now normally for eyeliner, my go-to is winged liner, you all know that, but I do want a little bit of a softer appearance. Today is not my day to be dramatic. So I'm actually gonna take the same liner from L'Oreal, I'm going to put it on an angled brush, just kind of paint it onto the brush like this, and stamp it on my upper lash line. And the cool thing about this technique is, especially if you're not a liner person, this doesn't have to necessarily be super precise or neat. It is more of a smudgy vibe, so it's a little less pressure off of you. And we'll just build up that liner look to the intensity you want it. When we get to the outer corner though, I do want to make it a little more intense, so I'm gonna go ahead and draw on directly to my eyelid and then take the brush and smudge it out just so slightly. Now just to soften this up, I'm going to go in with another small brush into that dark brown and just blend it so slightly, the smallest amount over the edge of that liner at the corner. And then I'm also gonna bring this down just a tiny, tiny bit. I wanna avoid a lot of makeup on my lower lash line because crying. So that's where we're at with liner. I am super happy with that. It's very soft, but still defining your eye. Let's go ahead and curl. Clearly, if you plan on crying, you're gonna wanna use something waterproof. I'm just gonna be using the Voluminous Lash Paradise today. Now it's totally up to you whether or not you wanna put lashes on, if you trust yourself putting on lashes, but something that I find is kind of an easier alternative is to use half lashes, also known as corner lashes. They're just a little bit easier because you're not trying to juggle like a full strip to match your eye shape, and they still do add just a tiny bit of flare to the edges to kind of amp up your eye look. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. These are just Ardell accent lashes. And that's how that looks like. It's definitely a natural approach to false lashes, but definitely still adding a little something, something. So this is what the eyes look like. It's enough to show up in photos, but it's not overwhelming or overbearing, which I think is perfect for bridesmaids makeup. Okay, because it is spring and summer, temperatures are a little bit warmer, you're gonna be running around doing stuff. I wanna use a matte foundation and something that is full coverage for photos. So I am using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless Foundation, but I do wanna add a little bit of radiance just to kind of give my skin a little boost. So I am going to be using the L'Oreal Lumi Glow Amore Glow Boosting Drops. So I'm going to be mixing these together for a little bit of a luminous matte look, so I'll get all of the staying power but less of the flat look. So I've got my Maybelline here, and now I'm just going to add a little bit of these Lumi drops because they are pretty intense. So maybe like 2-ish drops. And go ahead and start applying that all over the face, and be mindful of the fact that you have eyeshadow on now. And if you have a sponge like this where it has the flat top, this is just from NYX, you can take that and use it to your advantage to clean up any lines in your eyeshadow. Same with the brows, clean them up. You can already see a little bit of that glow come through from those drops, exactly what I wanted. I'm gonna go ahead and conceal under the eyes with the Infallible Pro Glow Concealer from L'Oreal. So I'm just gonna set that really quickly using the CoverGirl Clean Matte Powder. It's my favorite pressed powder. I'm not gonna go ahead and do the whole baking, loose powder, etc. I just want to set this and move on. I love this powder because it sets without messing up the texture of whatever you put down, so it doesn't look like cakey. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and contour, and I'm using the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in Deep, but you can use whatever your go-to contour is. And I'm using a fan brush, thanks to Nikki Tutorials for teaching me that amazing trick. A huge fan brush is actually really awesome for getting a contour right in under your cheekbones. For blush, I'm going into the trusty e.l.f. blush palette. This is in the dark version, and I'm going into this kind of peachy rose shade right here. And here I am going a little bit, not too heavy-handed, but I definitely want this to show up because I do not want to be all washed out in photos. For my highlight, I'm using the Maybelline Master Chrome in Molten Gold. Yes, I like that glow. And it's not like too gold. I would say that this is definitely more of a champagne. Like when I think Molten Gold, I think of that Fenty highlighter. I don't think this, but it's still pretty. All right, fam, I'm finishing off with a liquid lipstick. This is one of the new CoverGirl Melting Pout Mattes in the shade Coral Chronicles, which I think is a really pretty, like, springtime nude. It's not exactly coral. I would say it's more of like a rosy shade, but it's just enough of a pop without overtaking the whole look. Okay, to finish everything off, depending on your skin type, you may want to powder, you may want to spray. Because I used a lot of powder products on my face though, I'm just gonna go ahead and give myself a mist of setting spray to kind of just meld everything into my face and give a more natural finish. So that is it. That is the summer bridesmaid look using all drugstore products. If you're doing your own bridesmaids makeup this season, good luck. I'm sure you will do just fine. Just leave yourself enough time so that you feel calm and comfortable and you're not rushing and freaking out. If you want to see how I did my bride makeup for my actual wedding, be sure to check out the video. I will link it below. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. Become a member of the Slashed Squad. I have a giveaway going on right now for my subscribers, so check that out. I will link that below as well. And be sure to click the bell. Get notifications. You'll know every time a new video goes live. And I hope to see you in my next one. Bye!